Am I the asshole for telling my husband I am going to divorce him for going to the sister's wedding? This is happening in real time, and I'm not sure if my emotions are just running high right now or if I'm completely in the right. My sister-in-law is getting married, and I've been heavily involved in helping her plan her wedding. Everything from the DJ to the makeup artist and hair. She even asked me to be in the wedding party, and I agreed. My husband also asked me to read a prayer at the church, even though I'm not very religious, and to sponsor the wedding, which I had never been asked to do before. Fast forward to today, her first dress fitting. I went with my mother-in-law, my sisters-in-law, and her future in-laws. Everyone was looking at bridesmaids' dresses, and so was I, when I was suddenly told that I was no longer in the wedding party, that I wouldn't be allowed to be in the wedding photos, and that I would have to drive myself to the wedding because my husband would be with the groomsmen. I was also told that I was basically the wedding planner and would need to leave after the ceremony while the wedding party took photos to make sure the reception was being set up correctly. I walked away and texted my husband that I was upset but didn't want to ruin his sister's big moment. She picked her dress and continued looking at bridesmaids' dresses. I told my SIL, "Congratulations on the dress," and that I was leaving. Outside, I began to cry and called my husband to explain the situation. This isn't the first time his family has done something like this in the 9 years we've been together. They have disrespected me and my marriage so many times. I told my husband I no longer wanted to attend the wedding. He said okay, but still planned to go. I told him that was fine, but it would be the last time he let his family make me feel this way. He said I was being ridiculous, and my own family agrees with him. So, am I the AITA? Update. Sorry, I'm new to Reddit. I looked it up. Sponsors are the only people you legally need at your wedding. They act as witnesses to your marriage and sign the marriage certificate. Aside from the legal aspect, they also act as godparents to you and your partner. Today was also the wedding party's pre-dinner meet and greet. I'd been invited over a month ago with my husband, but I couldn't go because it was my mother's birthday. She has lung cancer and is very ill. My husband and I told his sister I could do the dress fitting, but not the dinner. She called all week to make sure I'd still be at the fitting. I'm confused as to why I needed to be at the dress fitting with the bridesmaids and at the wedding party dinner if I'm no longer a bridesmaid. She seemed upset that I didn't go to the dinner, but my mother's health is obviously my priority. My husband texted her to say we weren't coming. I'm not sure what she said back, but he was upset the entire dinner for my mom's birthday. The DJ is my brother's best friend, and the makeup artist is my stepsister. I know I could tell them to cancel. For context, on Thanksgiving, my sister-in-law asked me and her 3 sisters to help her plan her wedding. I wasn't the only one asked. I agreed because I know how stressful it is to plan a wedding alone. I picked out centerpieces and helped with things she didn't know about, something new, something old, etc. Since then, I've been helping with vendors and even picking out her wedding song. I think deep down I'm not upset about not being in the wedding. I just wish I hadn't been humiliated at the dress fitting, looking at dresses as if I were still in the wedding party. She could have simply called me and told me about the change. Instead, it was done in front of my mother-in-law, her future mother-in-law, and the fiancé's sisters. Everyone could tell I was blindsided. The bride even used her little sister to break the news because she didn't want to look like the bad guy. Despite my mother-in-law and I not having the best relationship, she doesn't allow her daughters to walk all over me. But she doesn't speak English and didn't know what was being said. Later, my husband told me his sister asked him 2 weeks ago to walk her down the aisle because their father passed away and he's her only brother. He said that if I don't attend the wedding, I'll be opening the worst can of worms ever. I explained to him that he was supposed to walk with me and that everything changed when I was removed from the wedding. He said he'd still walk her down the aisle, but wouldn't go in the limo or be in any photos. I know he's a huge mama boy, so I'm not sure we'll even stay married. The petty revenge I considered. I thought about just attending the wedding, and when asked to give my prayer, revealing in front of everyone how the bride and groom are heavy coke users, the groom's family is extremely religious. That would destroy the wedding, but my husband knows how petty I can be and suspects I have a master plan. Much needed update. Over the last week, my husband has tried to salvage our relationship. He told me his sister has now hired an official coordinator and says she no longer needs my help. She also fired the DJ and isn't sure about the makeup artist. She claims she didn't know where I got confused about being a bridesmaid. My husband showed her the messages where she asked me and told me the bridesmaid's dress color to buy. She had nothing to say, but insisted she never meant for me to be confused. My husband told her he would walk her down the aisle and then leave the wedding. He then told me I'd ruined his relationship with his family and that I'd lose them in the process and that they'd all hate me. I told him his family has never cared about me in the 9 years we've been together. I told him if he died tomorrow, none of them would reach out to me after the funeral. He had nothing to say to that, probably because he knows it's true. He now says he'd like to proceed with a divorce, and honestly, I think that's the best decision. Recently, I was in a bad car accident. I was rear-ended at about 50 miles per hour and ended up in the hospital. I called my husband, but he didn't show up, saying he was too busy with work. His sister, the bride, lives about 5 minutes away from where the accident happened. I asked her to go, but she never showed up. I brought that up to him, and he said no one was obligated to go to the hospital until I was conscious. I feel sad that I'm losing such a big part of my life, but I know I deserve someone who cares about me and puts me first in situations that hurt me.